Houston rapper Cartel Bo. The aggravated kidnapping case out of Cypress, Texas. A welfare check at a quiet house in Cypress, Texas. Zip ties on the floor. A closet with a deadbolt. Fast food wrappers where someone, investigators say, had been kept against her will. And at the center of it all, a Houston rapper the internet knows as NFL Cartel Bo, now facing an aggravated kidnapping charge while already sitting in the Harris County jail. This is a story that moved from a parking lot assault in June to a locked closet in July to a felony charge that could put someone away for life. Tonight we walk through what court filings and law enforcement say happened and what has not been proven in the courtroom. Before we go further, Warren Brown II, known as Cartel Bo, is charged, not convicted. Every accusation in this video is attributed to prosecutors, deputies, or court records. He is presumed innocent unless and until a jury finds otherwise. We are not naming the woman at the center of the case. She is the mother of his young child, and we refer to her that way out of respect and caution. Where charges include sexual assault, we will describe them only as filed allegations, not as established fact. Warren Brown II is a Houston rapper who built a following under the name NFL Cartel Bo. He came up in the same ecosystem as other Houston names that broke out of the city's rap scene, and he's been in the public eye before, not just for music, but for run-ins with federal law. That history matters because it shows this is not his first time facing serious charges, but past cases are not proof of new ones. In December of 2018, national outlets reported that a music video featuring Cartel Bo and fellow Houston rapper Maxo Cream, the song was called Hoover, became part of a federal investigation. Authorities said they used the video to identify people suspected of weapons violations. Dozens of arrests followed. According to the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of Texas, Warren Brown pleaded guilty to being a felon in possession of a firearm and served federal prison time. He's since returned to the local scene and to social media. Earlier this year, Cartel Bo was back in Houston news for a different reason. A March television interview pushing back against the Houston Police Officers Union over a segment critics called Murder Wood. That was about rhetoric and politics, not criminal charges. But it showed how visible he remained in Houston's media landscape. What happened in Cypress in July would put him in a very different kind of spotlight. According to multiple Houston outlets and court records cited in their reporting, the woman at the center of this case is the mother of Cartel Bo's 1-year-old child. Prosecutors and deputies describe a relationship marked by escalating conflict, not a stranger crime, but a domestic spiral that law enforcement says turned dangerous. That distinction matters. Co-parenting, prior arguments, prior charges involving the same person will shape how both sides tell this story in court. Court records describing Houston Chronicle and KHOU Houston reporting alleged the tension exploded weeks before the closet. On June 23rd, prosecutors say an incident unfolded in the parking lot of a business on West Road. The woman told investigators she had arranged for an Uber to leave with their child's car seat. According to those filings, Cartel Bo allegedly grabbed her, struck her repeatedly in the head and back. She told authorities she was 8 weeks pregnant at the time and was hospitalized with an elevated heart rate. He was jailed on family violence-related charges. That case was still live when July brought something worse. The same reporting describes a second layer to the June encounter. An Uber driver who tried to help was struck himself and told investigators Cartel Bo threatened to kill him. That led to an additional misdemeanor charge of assault causing bodily injury. A second man, Cameron Joshua, was also arrested that night on unrelated weapons charges, never accused of firing any shot, and those charges were dropped in December. Stack the rest together and you see the pattern. Prosecutors will likely argue the same woman, the same defendant, escalating violence in public, weeks before anyone searched the closet in Cypress. On Saturday, July 25th, Cartel Bo was already in the Harris County jail. He had been stopped after leaving the Cypress area and booked around 7:30 that evening on the outstanding warrants tied to the June assault case. At that moment, deputies had not yet filed the kidnapping charge. But investigators were about to learn what had allegedly happened inside a home on Darby Retreat Lane, and while a welfare check 48 hours later would turn this from a repeat domestic case into a felony that can carry a life sentence. According to charging documents summarized by KHOU, KHOU Houston ABC 13, and the Houston Chronicle, prosecutors allege Cartel Bo abducted the mother of his child on July 21st inside a home in the 15,000 block of Darby Retreat Lane in Cypress, a northwest Harris County suburb. The allegation is not a brief argument. Investigators say he held her against her will inside that house, and that what happened next went beyond unlawful restraint into what Texas labels aggravated kidnapping. Here is the detail that made this case explode online. Court records allege Cartel Bo locked the woman inside a closet, a deadbolt on the door, zip ties found in the home, fast food wrappers on the closet floor, suggesting she was confined there for an extended period. ABC 13 reported investigators believe she was held for days. Deputies say he checked on her hourly and refused to let her leave. Search warrants later documented that same physical evidence, the zip ties, the deadbolt, the debris, which is where cases like this are often won or lost. The filings also allege sexual assault during that confinement. We are not going to describe that conduct graphically. The charge itself tells you how seriously the state is treating what it claims happened in that room. Harris County Precinct 4 Constable Mark Herman's office has been the lead agency in public statements. According to those statements, the woman was held for at least 4 days, a span that transforms a heated domestic dispute, if proven, into prolonged captivity. Hourly check-ins, as alleged, suggest control, not a momentary loss of temper. Defense attorneys will have their own explanation when this reaches trial, but on paper, right now, the state's story is clear. She was not free to go, and he is the person who allegedly made sure of it. Court records say the turning point came when Cartel Bo left the Cypress home. The woman realized he was gone and ran. ABC 13 reported she fled while still handcuffed, found a neighbor, received food, and stayed there until law enforcement arrived. That detail, still restrained, still desperate enough to run into a suburban street, is the kind of image juries remember. It's also the kind of detail defense teams scrutinize hardest. Was she truly unable to leave earlier? Was the door actually locked? Those are courtroom questions not answered tonight. On Sunday, July 27th, deputies responded to Darby Retreat Lane for a welfare check. Constable Herman said investigators found signs that a person had been held inside the home and had escaped. They located the woman nearby and sent her to a hospital for treatment. Houston outlets haven't published detail about her injuries, and that's appropriate. What matters legally is that investigators treated her as a victim requiring hospital evaluation. Even though Cartel Bo was already in jail from Saturday's stop, this search is what connected the physical evidence to a new felony charge. A welfare check is usually routine. This one, officials say, opened a kidnapping case. While Cartel Bo sat in jail on the June-related warrants, investigators filed aggravated kidnapping. Reporting from multiple outlets confirms bond was denied on the new charge. He appeared in court. A hearing was reset. Prosecutors told reporters they would ask Judge Kelly Johnson to hold him without bond pending trial. For a defendant already known to the system, no bond is a statement. The state believes he is too dangerous to release while this case moves. As of the latest reporting, he remains in custody, layered on top of the earlier family violence and assault counts, while social media has already rendered its own verdict in the comment sections. The courts have not. It's worth pausing on the charge itself because the words sound interchangeable in headlines. Kidnapping is unlawfully restraining someone. Aggravated kidnapping in Texas can apply when the state alleges additional conduct, including sexual assault, serious bodily injury, or holding someone in a place not commonly used for human habitation. Penalties can reach life in prison. This is not a misdemeanor domestic dispute that resolves with anger management and probation. If convicted, Cartel Bo could face decades. If acquitted, the June cases still remain. Either way, the stakes are enormous. Prosecutors in cases like this almost always argue pattern: June parking lot, Uber driver assault, July closet, same victim, same defendant. The defense will try to break that chain: different context, credibility challenges, timeline disputes. No trial date has been set in the reporting we reviewed. Prosecutors told reporters they'll return to court to argue he should stay locked up through trial. Defense attorneys will push for bond and begin shaping the story they want a jury to hear. Those hearings rarely make national news, but they set the tempo for everything that follows. Where it stands tonight, Warren Brown II, NFL Cartel Bo, is charged with aggravated kidnapping after investigators allege he held the mother of his child captive in a Cypress closet for days, charges he has not been convicted of. He remains in Harris County custody with bond denied on a new count, while earlier family violence and assault charges from June remain pending. We've walked only what filings and officials have put on the record, careful about the line between alleged and proven. The courts, not the timeline, will decide what happens next. When there's an update, we'll bring it to you the same way. We'll keep following this case as it moves through the Harris County courts. This has been Crime Town TV.